today on a very special episode of Hell in a Cell. Mariya, put down the drugs. Please, we love you.
I don't have any drugs, James.
The drugs of posters of Nick Cage. They're your drugs.
I don't have Nick Cage posters, James.
You're lying because you're on drugs. The drugs of Nick Cage posters.
I feel like you're at the wrong intervention.
This is what happens, kids. This is what happens if you go on drugs, and by which I mean buy a shit ton of Nick Cage posters. Get help.
You go to the wrong intervention.
Get help soon. There are many resources available to you. You can get clean too. And remember, if you do drugs, you go to hell before you die.
Yeah, okay. I know this looks bad.
I can't tell you how embarrassed I am.
I'm not making this up! You gotta believe me this time.
No, son. I don't.
Eternal damnation is here at Hell in a Cell.
So that was an old PSA
Ah, yes.
by Captain Lou Albano dressed as Mario.
Oh my god.
Anyway, welcome to Hell in a Cell, an animation podcast hosted by me, James. That's Mariya.
Sup?
Or wait, should I say Mariya for this particular episode?
Sure. I don't really care.
Well, that's your name, right?
Yeah, but it's just been contorted and phoneticized so many times that I would legitimately respond to the weirdest perversions of my name.
How does that make you feel to have been colonized?
Well, it's not like it started when I left, India. Even back at home, people couldn't spell my name right.
It's not that hard.
It's not, but it's also
You just add a Y in there.
yeah, I know. It just blows people's mind that there's an I and a Y. What? How? That's not even... Anyway, and my last name is also, not a very common last name back at home.
Oh, is it?
So they always screw up my my last name too. I've always had to spell out my name whenever I was giving it to anyone, because they would not understand, or if we said it, they would spell it wrong, and then it'd just be like, you know what? Just let me do this. Just let me just stop, please. So my teacher, my Hindi teacher would call me Mariya all the time. There was 5 R's in my name somewhere, and I was just like, you know what? Sure. Why not?
Oh, God.
So it's not something that's happened after I moved.
Okay.
This is something that was normal back at home too, both for me and my brother.
Is it?
It's actually easy for it's actually, he's had less trouble over here than I have. Because people back over here are able to say his name correctly. Back at home, there are a lot of names that are very similar to his name, and his name is the least common. So they'll call him stuff like Omar or Amir or something like that, and they'll never just call him Amar. And it's just I don't understand. It's AMMAR. It's how hard is it? There's 2 M's, there's 2 A's. Just Phoneticize people. Come on.
Damn. Got colonized by your own people.
Oh God, don't even. Ugh. It was a time.
It was a time. It was a place.
It's actually much easier for me to be able to like write out my name with the quote unquote correct pronunciation in Hindi, and somehow people still manage to fuck up saying my name.
Really?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's just so at this point it doesn't really matter. Which doesn't mean that it doesn't matter to everyone.
Oh yeah.
Like just because it doesn't matter to me doesn't mean that like other people appreciate you not saying their name right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Just ask.
Like, yeah, ask them and like say it a couple times and like
Yeah.
People appreciate it more if you like try it and like or like ask if you're not saying their name right and and try, then just like not even give a damn about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just ask. Just like, can you say that again?
Yeah, or like could you like say it a little slower so that I can learn how to pronounce your name properly? Like
Yeah.
nobody's ever said that to me. They'll like try to pronounce it and it'll come out like Mariya. Mariya. And I'm just like,
Well, I mean, did I do that when I first
No.
met you? Okay.
I don't think so. And if you did, I don't remember, so
Okay.
all is forgiven.
Woo!
But yeah, like just ask and try to say people's names right. It's always
It's not hard.
it's always appreciated.
Mm-hmm. But why are we talking about this, Mariya?
Why are we talking about this, James?
Why are we talking? Because we watched. Well, first off, we're in Nostalgia November.
Yeah. So we're picking out stuff from the early aughts.
Yes, the 2000s. So we decided on the Proud Family. I guess like kind of a I wouldn't say kind of a successor to like the Fat Albert cartoons. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
Okay, you've heard of.
There's a place called Fat Albert's that sells Italian food. That like a restaurant called Fat Albert's near my house.
They better hope that I think Paramount owns them now. Paramount doesn't get word.
Well, I don't. They haven't been sued yet, and they've been here for a very long time. So.
Yeah. Anyway, Fat Albert was a well, you know who Bill Cosby is, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was an early attempt to have cartoons starring African American black people.
Okay.
And since then, it's been pretty spotty. Especially for a leading character like this.
Right.
So, but in the 2000s, we definitely got a lot more of a diversity, of a representation than before. You had like the Proud Family come in, and I mean, it was a pretty popular cartoon, I believe. In my research, you had other stuff like the Static Shock cartoon, Start a Black Kid. It's still really slim pickings, though.
Right.
But it's better than zero. So
yeah, it's better than nothing.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to say better than nothing because that's
I see. Yeah. Better than no. Yeah.
It's an improvement.
Right.
How's that?
Yeah.
But yeah, the Proud Family got on Disney Channel back in the day. Was there anything else I wanted to say about like the diversity of the early aughts? It was very clumsy. Let's say that. It was very clumsy, and we're going to explain why in this.
Oh God, this episode was just
Yeah, it was a
a
rough one.
time.
It was a time and a half. Some
What episode did we watch, James?
hold on. I was going to say that some series made it work better than others, and this one did
Like
not.
which one?
I think Static Shock had a pretty good grasp on what it was talking about compared.
Mhm.
I don't think it had any episodes like this,
Oh good God,
but it did
this
have
was
like
just a weird.
yeah,
I don't even know.
I don't even know either. It did have stuff that tackled like issues facing black people,
Mm-hmm.
like homelessness, racism, and stuff like that. Being
Uh-huh.
a quote unquote other. I mean, in a society of a default, where the default is white people who are the worst.
Right.
But anyway,
Yeah.
anyway, we watched Proud Family Season 2, Episode 23, Culture Shock. Original release date October 4th, 2003. Directed by T.J. House. I don't know if he's related to Dr. House. What was Dr. House's first name? Did you ever watch House? Oh my god. It's an audio... It's an audio podcast, Mariya.
Oh, I
Jesus
see.
Christ. Written by Dorian Spicer, and the series was created by Bruce W. Smith. So, this episode. Before, I think before we start, Mariya, we had I gave you a choice.
You did.
We could have watched a classic in-laws episode. We could have watched that, but I also saw this episode, which was I thought you might be interested in.
I mean, I was not interested in it.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I thought Mariya might like this, and it'll show the good steps that we were taking in the early aughts towards yeah, exactly. God.
Good steps indeed.
Yeah. All right, Mariya, why don't you give us the summary and explain to everybody.
Oof. So this episode starts off with like this cultural festival at Penny's high school where her dad is trying to sell people like cultural snacks that have been like merged into a single snack. It was interesting. But yeah, so they're all like at this cultural festival. Everyone's wearing like traditional clothes and are just milling about. And the principal of the school makes an announcement about because of the cultural festival being such a success, that the kids would get a chance to live in a family that is of a different culture than theirs, so that they can learn about how their life is, basically. And a lot of them get switched around, and there's a lot of people vying to like be switched into the famous basketball player's house because he's loaded. And
Wizard Kelly.
Yes, and Penny gets switched with a girl named Radhika, who she doesn't know who this person is, and her family is supposed to be from Pakistan. And certain comments are made, and like Penny the next day switches Penny the next day tries to like skip school for a week by pretending to be sick, but her mom's just like, nah. and sends her on her way. And she kind of goes to their place. Basically, they give us little snippets of like other students who have been switched into different houses.
God, can we talk about this?
Yeah.
Let's,
So like, I think one of the richer kids gets switched into the blue people's house, and has to like fix their roofs and stuff. The Asian kids get switched into the Dejanay's house, I think.
yes.
And who is like this other black kid whose family is from Louisiana, and she has a lot of siblings. So these like 3 Asian triplets are like switched with her and have to live and babysit like her siblings while she is like forced to study math because she's of course yeah, in an Asian household. They don't really specify where they're from.
They're just Asian, Mariya.
They're just like they don't specify like they're Chinese, Vietnamese, Japanese. Like no, they're just Asian.
Pretty sure they're supposed to be Chinese, but let's just not even.
Like, cause they don't really specify it, so I'm not sure. And the blue kids the blue sisters get switched with the rich girl's house, and they learn how to become like entrepreneurs almost.
No, they just learn Spanish.
Weird. Well, they did, but like at the end of the episode, they were like giving a full pitch about like a product or a company or something, and like they're entrepreneurs now. What? Okay.
No, they just steal from people.
And wait, who else was there? One of the girls gets switched with the basketball and into the basketball player's house and is rich now for a little while. Who else is there?
That's about it.
That's all that really matters.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And like Penny is switched into this household, and like it kind of starts off weird where like she's kind of tired of sitting and watching like soaps with the grandma in the family, and the younger kid, and she tries to like advise the dad on a chess move that he's making, which he thinks that she has no business meddling with, and what does she know?
What was this?
And then like makes that move anyway, and then loses. And then the mom just like explains to her what a hijab is.
Oh God! Should we start on that?
I mean, we could. Yeah, I guess so. We're still doing like
The summary.
Are we doing discussion after the summary?
I thought we were gonna just do it during.
I mean, yeah, we could do that. Yeah.
Okay.
So the hijab.
So Mariya, hold on, Mariya. What's a hijab?
It's a hijab.
No, Mariya. They specifically say hijab.
I know, and that's not the right. I've never heard it been said like that, so I don't think it's correct.
We looked it up, and it's not.
I know. It's not correct, not really.
So, Mariya, what is a hijab, then?
So a hijab is basically like the headscarf that Muslim women wear sometimes. And there's like the hijab, which is the scarf, but there's also like stuff like an abaya, which is the whole black clothes that they wear. There's a different kind of hijab which has like covers your face. Mm-hmm. It has a different name that I can't recall currently because we don't wear that. Mm-hmm. And then like there's the ones that we wear in my Muslim community. They're called like ridas basically, and they're like colorful, and then they have like the full headscarf thing attached to it. So there's like different kinds of stuff, but like the headscarf is most prominently seen or worn in the Western world because it fits well with the Western attire. Like people want to mingle with the Western attire and wearing a headscarf instead of like an abaya, or in some households they just wear a headscarf. Nothing else really matters. It just they wear the headscarf. Like a lot of households will have a different interpretation of how and what the whole cover your hair and body situation is. Some people choose to cover their hair. Some people choose to wear the whole abaya. Some people choose to wear neither, but will still wear like covering clothes, so like full sleeved or like long skirts. And some people don't even do that. Like it's very subjective on how people interpret that. But a hijab is just the headscarf, the one that you would usually see people wear, women wear around.
Okay. So why'd they call it a hijab?
I don't know. It's just Is that something that people called the hijab when they didn't know how it was pronounced, like in the 2000s or something?
I don't know. And well, the thing is that this episode thinks that wearing a hijab is just the weirdest thing ever.
Well, yeah. So like in the start, first of all, there's like those people. It's like
I wrote that down too.
Yeah, it's like there's like an entire family who's blue, and you draw the line at headscarf.
I couldn't tell you what the blue thing's about. It's
bizarre clothes, like bizarrely different clothes from like a Western person's perspective. Like that's where you draw the line.
Yes, a scarf that you wear over your hair is just
so like
too weird.
Like a freakishly tall basketball player whose head doesn't even fit in the camera, and a family of blue people are not weirder than someone that decides to wear a headscarf than a family in which wearing a headscarf is normal. Like, what are you trying to imply here? I thought we were trying to normalize this instead of making it weird.
Right. It goes about it in such a bizarre way. Talking about like issues of different cultures mingling. It's not a weird thing.
Well, I mean, the thing is that they don't start off with making it weird, right? They start off with it just being something normal and like everyone like hanging about in this cultural fair and everything, right? And then suddenly there's this flip into casual racism. And then it's just like, those people, I wouldn't be caught dead in a headscarf and hide my beautiful face under a cloth.
There's
like
so many hijab jokes.
Oh my god, there were so many. And then the weird sort of like snide, like, I mean, I'm not saying that doesn't happen. The sort of instance with Radhika's dad, like dismissing Penny's suggestions, right? Like, I'm not saying that doesn't happen, that like back, like that,
yeah,
but that kind of sexism isn't just prevalent there. I can just as easily point to like coaches and like other people that don't value a woman's advice or opinion in Western culture just as much as you would in any other culture. Like that's not a geographically specific problem. That's a very universal issue, and just for them to be showing it like that, and then showing Penny's family as like the stark opposite almost.
That was that's rough. Thinking about it
So
now.
yeah, so
Ugh.
like basically yeah, so Penny realizes that it's the month of Ramadan, so she can't eat.
Wait, hold on, Mariya. I have one more.
Yeah.
I want to piggyback off you really quick.
Uh-huh.
It's just that the only things that this episode knows about Muslims is headscarf, Ramadan, and sexism.
Kind of. It's almost like they didn't really consult or go to someone's house, to like a Muslim person's house, and just, like actually see what it's like in there.
Right. Or even
It's almost like they didn't really think that through.
I don't know. I don't know.
Anyway, so Penny so Penny can't eat, and on the other side
Do you want
cut
to explain Ramadan really quick?
Yeah, hold on. I was gonna cut to
sorry.
like Penny's house where Radhika like gets up to go wash some of the vegetables and to like start making dinner or whatever, and then like Trudy, who is Penny's mom, is just like, no, we don't do the work in this house. The women are in charge here. Trudy and Sugar Mama.
Mm-hmm.
Totally different connotation for those two words being said together at the same time in the current century, but you know. So they, yeah, basically they're like, so Radhika's like, well, what do you do then? And then they're like, we just go shopping, and they like have like credit cards, and
that's
she's
such
like,
a
yeah, okay,
90s
sure.
thing. Oh my god.
And like they're supposed to be in Ramadan, so why would Radhika decide to cook dinner? Like, she's not eating.
I don't know.
I'm just very confused. Like, the timeline is really weird. So Ramadan is basically like kind of like how there's the English calendar, there's also like a Muslim calendar, and we work by the moon. And so one of the months of the Muslim calendar year is the month of Ramadan, which is like about 29 to 30 days depending on the moon cycle of fasting, and then the last day is Eid al-Fitr, because there are two Eids. So this one is the one after Ramadan is Eid al-Fitr, which is sort of like a day for giving and like being with family and like eating lots of food and blah blah blah, all that stuff, fun stuff. And
was that
yeah, so in Ramadan we don't the first 29 to 30 days is like fasting. And then the first of the next month is Eid, basically.
Okay.
And that is the actual like holiday. The month of Ramadan is just us fasting.
Okay.
For a full, it's just us like not eating in the daytime and only in the nighttime. And like the actual festival is Eid al-Fitr, because there are two kinds of Eids. So the Eid al-Fitr is the one that's like right after the first of the next month. And that's when we like go and hang out with family, and like the tradition is different for all households, like different depending on what different kind of Muslim you are. Like the traditions vary considerably depending on like the culture that you're from. So like when in India, it would usually be my dad, my brother going around to other people's houses. When we were in Dubai, I remember it being like the entire family going together. So it's very much depends on like the culture. So everyone celebrates it a little differently.
Okay.
And like the signature food is also somewhat different.
Okay.
But yeah, that's in essence. So Ramadan is not the holiday month. That's the month where we don't eat a lot. But like the iftar, which is when we break the fast, is usually very like elaborate because we haven't eaten all day. So it's usually like good food for everyone to eat because they're all starving, essentially. Yeah.
I remember an episode of Little Mosque on the Prairie where they broke their fast with just a giant potluck.
Yeah, that's normal. Yeah, 'cause sometimes you do that.
I forget what the joke of the sitcom situation was of that episode. I know a lot of them were just like, I can't wait for Ramadan to be over.
Yeah, like that's generally the thought process, at least at the start of the month, when you're just like trying to get into the rhythm of it. I remember my dad used to like add some Red Bull into whatever like juice or like punch that we would make, because usually we would make it with like orange, freshly squeezed oranges and stuff like that, because again, you haven't drank or eaten anything all day, so you kind of have to like put as much in one thing as you possibly can. So my dad would put like half a can of Red Bull into this huge jug full of like punch that he would make.
Okay, just to keep you going.
To like give us a pick me up like right after, so that we could actually do some stuff before like we had to go to bed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
At night, okay.
Yeah, like so that we can like, because naturally the entire day we've been a little sluggish, so for this time you just kind of
okay.
Yeah.
Mariya,
Anyway,
what's the cutoff? What's the time period cutoff between when you can eat and then when you have to stop?
So basically, you have to eat. So basically, we wake up for the start of the fast. So you have to eat before sunrise. So it would depend on where you are and what time in the year it is. Okay. But basically before sunrise.
Okay.
And then you can't eat until after the sun sets.
Okay. So completely, like, what are we in purple zone, or like what kind? Is it like you cannot see the sun anymore physically, or does the sky have to turn black?
It's kind of like, so sunset time, or like sunrise time, you're kind of like pushing it, like if you can see the sun like coming out, and then so you have to like stop. So basically we would eat a good time before like whatever time sunrise is, which is a lot easier to check nowadays because you have like Weather Channel or AccuWeather telling you like what time it's sunrise and sunset, so you know that you have to be done before that time. And then it's like, yeah, so yeah, like over here, if you're fasting in the wintertime, it's great. Like you're done by like 4. You still have like half the evening to do stuff. Okay. If you're fasting here in the summertime, you're not done till like 8:30, my friend. You're starving away.
Oh fuck! I could do 4, I think, but 8.
From like
holy shit!
12 hours, so like from 4 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Yeah, I think I could do that.
Yeah.
That's
doable.
After the first week, I'd be like, I hate this.
Well, actually, it's the first week when you're like, I hate this. After that, you kind of get used to it.
After that, you're just kind of numb to it.
Yeah, you're just like, yeah, no, this is regular routine. I even used to actually like wake up without an alarm, because like I don't fast as much because I like, look at me. I mean, clearly if I fasted anymore, I would just be gone completely.
Wither away.
But like I used to fast when I was back at home, especially usually when the Ramadan time came on, like holiday, like weekend time, or like vacation time. So I did like a full month once, and to the point where like once we were done, I would still wake up at like sahur time, which is when you wake up in the morning to eat before sunrise. Like you would wake up then and just...
Okay, so you can wake up before sunrise and eat, and then...
Yeah. You don't have to stay up all night. You just
Well,
you kind of
yeah.
like, you go to bed, but and you wake up before sunrise. You
I,
eat, and then you pass out.
I didn't know the rules. I didn't know if that was allowed in this situation.
Oh yeah. Like you wake up right before sunrise.
Okay.
Like not just before, but like you wake up at like.
Yeah, just before, and you shovel it into your face all.
Like you can do that. It's not advised because you kind of want to give yourself time to be able to eat stuff.
Right.
So it's kind of like a very early breakfast. Like eating breakfast at 3:30 a.m. is what it's like essentially.
So.
And then not eating forever.
So what I'm gathering from this conversation is that if they had talked to a single Muslim person, they would have.
They would have gotten a gist of it.
Yeah. Like, how long have we been talking about this for? Like 20 minutes ish.
I think so. Yeah.
And I think I've pretty much gotten the gist.
Yeah.
And it's not weird.
It's not weird. It doesn't take much to like y'all have weird stuff too. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like eating the flesh of Jesus as bread and the blood as wine. Like, that's freaking weird, you guys. That's just cannibalism, man. Like, come on.
Yeah.
That's not weird, but this is like, I don't.
Should we?
Hey. Anyway, so.
Yeah.
Aside from that, Radhika's mom explains to Penny what a hijab is, and like the next day, Penny like comes to school with comes to high school with the hijab on because she has a bad hair day. And
can you confirm this advice, Mariya?
See, I genuinely don't like wearing it because I came from a hot country, and I like in my household we didn't really wear it on a regular basis. Like I would wear the rida, which is like the full covering when we went to the mosque, but like on a regular basis I didn't really wear the headscarf.
Okay.
So I never actually used that as an excuse, but like anyway, like when I went to school we had like a uniform, so I never had that problem.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? I never had the bad hair day problem because it was like the same hairstyle for everyone anyway, so it's not like it was getting any better at any point in time, and it couldn't get worse. So, you're just in that limbo there.
Okay, we'll have to consult with another Muslim person about this to confirm this advice.
So, I mean, I know a lot of people who are like, yeah, thank God I don't have to fucking worry about my hair today because I just have to wear the scarf. Like, nobody cares what's underneath.
Alrighty then. Confirmed.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted. Continue.
So yeah, like she, like no, I don't know that people will like purposely wear the headscarf someday because it is like a bad hair day. But I wouldn't imagine that it's like out of the ballpark of what's possible. Each their own. It's like it's a very big gray zone. So yeah, she comes to high school with.
Oh, Mariya, can I hold on?
Headscarf.
Sorry, I wanted to interrupt you really quick because okay, so all of the characters are like just wearing regular clothes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is the Zameen family? The family that Penny's staying with, why are they wearing like more traditional clothing?
I mean, I don't. It really depends on like how long this family has been here. You know what I mean? Like I know that a lot of families that migrate will continue to wear like traditional clothes even outside. And like as the generation has lived there longer and longer, they sort of start not abandoning per se, but like they start mingling some more with
Right.
whatever is the regular outfit for people to wear, right, to like fit in. And
yeah,
so like it's not unnatural for them to be like, yes, it's weird because like nobody else is also wearing it, but it's also not like not unnatural for people to be wearing um
Mm-hmm.
wearing that. It is weird, but like not unfathomable
Right. No, I get it.
for a family to do that. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, depending on how long they've been in America, it would vary considerably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's just that nobody else has.
Oh yeah, nobody else.
Well, I thought that at first they were wearing it because they were at the cultural day,
Right.
but then they're just wearing it in their house, which, yeah, sure,
Yeah.
makes sense. You know, wear what you like.
Yeah, wear what you like, kind of. Yeah, I used to wear pajamas at home.
You still wear pajamas.
I mean, yeah, but like even back in India, like it's just
Oh.
pajamas were pajamas. I wasn't I wasn't like in a getup per se.
Right.
I
I
didn't
mean,
usually wear like all of that every day because it was just cumbersome
right.
to wear it if I needed to go. And then we also had a uniform in school, so naturally we couldn't.
Well, hold on, Maria. Sorry
Yeah.
for interrupting you.
No,
But
it's okay.
I'm remembering all of the things I learned while watching Little Mosque on the Prairie,
Uh-huh.
which is a show about It's a sitcom about Muslim people living in a small town, and just like Muslim jokes.
Right.
Not like jokes that about Muslims, but like jokes. You know what I mean?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Like anyway, I remember. So the mom, Mrs. Amin, is wearing her hijab, or no, she's wearing what is it called? The whole thing.
Well, she's wearing a hijab, and then
Oh,
she's
is she
wearing
wearing a
something like a regular traditional thing underneath it.
Oh, okay. She's wearing it like indoors with her family,
Yeah.
and like in the Little Mosque on the Prairie, they were like one of the characters is a woman, Muslim. She didn't
Right.
wear her hijab like in her house when it's just her and her family.
Yeah,
around.
usually you don't. Well, usually when you're at home, yeah. Like if it's just your husband
Right.
at home. I mean, it could maybe be because like the grandpa was also outside, so that's why she still had it on. Different
Is it?
households have different rules like that. Like,
Your grandpa? That who is your dad? I guess.
well, they're your father-in-law, right?
Oh, I guess yeah. It's the father-in-law. So
Yeah. So like maybe that's why she was still wearing it. But usually
Maybe.
no, when you're in your house, they don't
right.
usually wear it.
Yeah, that's what I was.
I mean, we
wondering
usually
about.
like our usual attire always comes with like a scarf like thing, like a really long scarf that we wear with our attire. And then if suddenly like a male that is not part of the family shows up, you can cover your head like quickly, basically. So it's just like part of the garb at that point.
Right. Yeah, she had to do
'cause
that
then
a
you
few
can, like,
times.
Yeah, like, and it's not even just like a Muslim thing. Like back in India, like all women would have to wear something. Like it wasn't like a headscarf. Like you wouldn't have to wrap it on your head and every time you went out. But like women would cover their head as a mark of respect and also to hide their face from other men,
Okay,
basically.
got it.
So like it's kind of like a cultural thing too, in that sense too. Like,
Right.
so like back in India, it wasn't even like a Muslim thing. It was just like, that's just what we did. You must hide your women at all costs.
Anyway, that's all I had to. That's the question I had. I should
yeah,
go
so-
back and watch Little Mosque on the Prairie. It was a good show. It was like,
And you talk about it a lot, so I'd imagine that it was pretty decent.
I mean, it might be terrible. Who knows?
I mean, it might be terrible. Who knows?
Yeah, but it taught me a lot about the Muslim faith and people.
Yeah, that's
So,
always nice.
Yeah, that's representation. Not
Yeah, that's always nice.
not this garbage.
God, this was just so bad.
Where are
so
we?
they did that.
in the plot?
Anyway, so back to the episode recap. So Penny wears the hijab to school, and then the Blue Sisters, after a bunch of hijab jokes, the Blue Sisters show up and are trying to steal the kids' money, but Penny like hides all of the money in her hijab. And she's basically going to go get lunch because she hasn't eaten anything in days almost. But then she like goes on to explain that that's not how fasts work. But like apparently she's just exaggerating.
But she starts out saying like they don't eat, and it goes on for a while, and then until she
eventually explains what is happening. And then she's like trying to get food, but like she's stopped by someone.
That's a teacher.
A teacher. And the teacher's like, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, aka don't eat if they're not eating.
You prick.
Well, he's basically trying to tell her not to be like, like to experience it, like immerse herself in the experience and all that,
right?
All that fancy schmancy stuff. And so she basically goes back home, back to like the Zameen family's home,
mm-hmm.
And like the father is more like she's playing chess with the dad. As like and like is advising him on the chess moves now.
Yes, sexism has been fixed, Mariya. We fixed it.
Yes, it has. They fixed the sexism. Yes,
mission accomplished banner. We fixed it.
Fixed it. Yep. Anyway, so and then like she gets up. Radhika's mom comes in and says that she was going to go make dinner for everyone, and then she was like, no, I'm gonna not eat just like you guys. And she was like, no, but like Ramadan's over tonight, we're gonna go like feast and whatever. And she's just like, what? They're telling me what? Okay, anyway, so they and then they take her to like this restaurant place where like Radhika is there with Penny's family, so with the Proud family,
which is okay.
And she dances with like a Muslim kid, apparently.
Yep.
That's a thing.
That was the thing that happened, yes.
That is a thing that happened, yes. And then they like go home.
Oh my god.
But the Zameen family's house is like TP'd, and there's graffiti on their garage that says "Go back to your country," which like completely blindsides you, because you're just like, where? What?
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, out of nowhere. You just kind of are like, wait, what?
Wait, what? Whoa, what? Hold on a second. Out of nowhere. Yeah. I was shocked.
And then basically at the end, like Penny like comes up on stage and talks about like,
oh my god, this was
she's just like, everyone has the same families. We all have our like grandmas and grandpas and like grumpy dads and moms that keep the place together and blah blah blah.
I mean, well, Mariya, she starts out by saying, I thought the Zameens were a bunch of weirdos.
Oh my god.
Because they dressed
I
weird.
Remember that. Yep. Also, I find it weird that somehow she lived in a Muslim family, and for some reason they never actually explained how like Muslims do prayer, because we like do prayer 5 times a day.
Right.
So, but that never came up. Like, but Ramadan did. Like, have you talked to a Muslim ever?
They did not. I remember
it was just so dumb.
It was really dumb. I remember an episode of Little House on the Prairie. One of the characters, he married a white lady who converted to Islam.
Mm-hmm.
And they were having a classic sitcom fight over something.
Ah, I see.
I
see.
Classic husband-wife bickering.
Tussle.
Yep. And he was like, well, all right, I bet you can't do all of the prayers, because she just, like, does one in...
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The, like, sun up, and then sun...
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a funny episode.
Well, I mean, objectively speaking, some of the prayers are much easier to do than, like, getting up at 4 a.m. and doing some of them.
Yeah, that was basically the one thing.
Oh, God. Like, some of them are objectively easier to accomplish because they come in, like, the middle of the day. As opposed to, like, waking up at 3 a.m. to, like, yeah. Yep.
Exactly. Anyway. Yeah, why wasn't that a thing?
How was that not, like...
How did they not have a scene of her having to pray in class?
Well, I mean, not even just that, just like them showing how that works, right? Like her maybe just being very confused, and then them like talking about like, yeah, like you guys, like Christians, like, pray at night before going to bed, or like before like you eat, you say grace and stuff like that. Like, this is what we do. This is how we thank God for the creations and the roof on our head and the ability to move and stuff like that.
The ability to move, is that a thing?
Yeah, like well, like it's kind of like when you pray, you're like, thank God for everything, like having a roof over your head, food every day, being able to drink water, and thankful for being able to move properly, to be able to see, to hear, to speak, all that stuff, to have all my limbs intact, stuff like that. And then like
is there like a standardized prayer like in Catholicism, in Islam?
So we have to, when we pray, like we have to go through a series of duas, basically.
Okay.
And they're like, they all have, so there's like the pre-prayer, there's like the call to prayer, and then there's like a dua somewhere there, and then there's another call to prayer, and then then you start, and then you're like, okay, this is the prayer that I'm doing. It's like, it has, so we have these, so some of the prayers are longer than other prayers, so like, this is the prayer I'm doing, this is how long it's going to be. And then you go do, like, there's like a series of repetitive like duas and movements that you have to do, and then like you end the prayer, and like there's a bunch of stuff at the end, and then you finally like go down into what we call the sajda, which is when you like bend down onto the prayer mat and are like pray to God for whatever you want, basically.
Okay. So
yeah, so like there's it's all in Arabic. They all have a meaning to it. If you go to Muslim school, they teach you all of that. I don't remember much. I was not very good at Muslim school.
Alright. So this is very similar to Catholicism. Like, they pray in Latin, so...
Yeah, no, it's not at all like the more that I learned about Catholicism, I was like, yeah, no, we do that back. Yeah, Muslims do that. Well, they have like some counterpart to it, to this whole thing, right? Like, we have sermons in mosques, and we have like priests. We call them something different, but we have priests. There's like a structure.
Imam.
Yeah, like imams are the ones that lead the prayers, but then we also have like Maulvis, who are basically like scholars. And like, depending on how large your particular sect of Islam is, there'll be a more a more stratified power structure
Oh, okay.
that goes higher, and like you can get titles and stuff.
Oh, okay. So just like
Yeah.
bishops and archbishops and all that.
Yeah,
Okay.
stuff like that. So like
Got
it
it.
goes higher.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
there's a lot of politics involved there
Yeah.
too, depending on like where you are, and like some of them are very like grassroots, right? Like some of them, it's not really much. It's very grassroots people, small community, and that's how it is. And then some, the larger it gets, then it gets like more stratified, just like any other, you know.
Yeah, basically. Well, I mean, they're both Abrahamic religions, so
Yeah,
you'd
exactly.
assume
Yeah.
they'd have something in common.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of, as much as people like to go around blowing the horn of how different these people are, like,
Those people.
they're not.
No.
They're not.
Yeah. I mean, I've known you
like-
for how many years?
3, 4?
I think it's 4 now.
Yeah. Well, we met in October of 2016.
I hate
So
that you
we're-
know that.
So we met for the first time in March of 2016. That's when I did my interview. And then in October, we actually started playing D&D together.
Okay, and that's when we became friends.
Yes. Until then, I was just like, ooh, this is Mr. Editor-in-Chief. I shouldn't piss him off.
You weren't the one pissing me off. Ever.
I know. I know. I tried so hard.
Oh, God.
Tried so hard. It got so far.
All right. You forgot something, Mariya.
What did I forget?
What's the girl's name? Isn't even a Muslim name.
Yeah, no, I was getting to that.
Oh,
so,
were you okay?
Yeah. No, I was. We finished this thing, and yeah. So now here's what was. Radhika isn't a Muslim name. Now, I'm not saying that Muslims cannot be named Radhika. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is,
A traditional Pakistani family wouldn't name their daughter
Yes.
Radhika.
Radhika. Yeah.
Radhika,
They would not have
sorry.
named their daughter Radhika. It's just no. A traditional Pakistani family would not have done that. It's a Hindu name.
Oh no.
Like they basically are not even, it's just, I don't even know how to begin to criticize this and how many different politics are involved in this. It's just
hurts.
not a great oops.
No, with an episode specifically about Islam and Muslim people, Pakistani people, and you can't even get the fucking name right.
Exactly.
It's just the bare minimum. They knew 3 things about
Like-
Muslim people.
Yeah, it's just, and then can we talk about like the Asian stereotype too?
We can
Like,
definitely talk about the Asian stereotype. Holy
the
fuck.
Asian dad just like freaking no, that I was gonna say it in a way that would not. Anyway, the Asian dad just like getting really mad at Dejanay because she was just like chilling out on her bed and was like, no, you gotta do math.
No,
You
Mariya.
have to study.
No, Mariya. He starts off by saying you're failing math, and she's like, "No, I'm not. I have a B in math." And he's like, "Yeah, you're
Yeah.
failing."
Yeah, this household, that's a failure. And you're just like,
Jesus Christ, are we still doing this in 2003? I mean, I believe we were still doing that in 2003. We're still doing that now.
do we want to really open the can of worms that is the model minority myth? Do we really want to do that, James?
Let's not talk about that. I don't think that's. I don't think that applies here.
That's
I
a whole different episode.
Yeah, but what the problem here is the myth of the positive stereotype. The idea that one of the big things right now that's being
Right.
critiqued is that black people are just tougher than white people. And
Yeah,
a lot
which
of
is not true.
no, it's not true, but it's a positive stereotype of them.
Like, are we talking like physically tougher? Is that
Yeah,
what we're talking
physically
about?
tougher.
Yeah.
You know, like they don't feel pain the same as white people do.
Yeah, maybe
So,
they've got a built-up stamina from all of your bullshit.
from having to shovel all of the bullshit. Oh my god. Yeah. But so yeah, the positive stereotype thing is just so awful, really.
Yeah, it's just like, but we're just saying that you're smart, like you're really good at math or whatever. It's like, no,
No.
no,
You're being
dismissive of the dimensions of a person just because they're of a certain race. Yeah,
right. You're being what's the thing that's not racism?
prejudiced.
Prejudice, thank you.
Yeah,
You're being prejudiced
exactly.
against another group of people.
Just because of that, just because that's what you think that they're like.
Right.
You know,
You
like
know.
like nobody's like, yes, we, like, me back at home, like I know people and families who had that kind of upbringing where they were like, no, you have to, like, if it's not a 90, it's not, if 90 was bad, like if it's not a 95, you're a, just no, like, you know. So, and I was like an 85 plus kid. I'd always been an
So a
85
failure.
plus kid. Yes, but like my mom and dad never really put much stock into that.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because like I was really good at English, I was decent at math, I was good at like social sciences and like chemistry and biology, but not physics. Like I was still decent at physics. But then I also had a bunch of other language classes that I wasn't very good at because I didn't grow up doing it as rigorously as other people. So my mom never really was upset with like an average of 85 if I was pulling through, even though I had like some classes where I was really bad at, because like naturally I would be. So like my mom never really like put too much pressure on me. Like she did, but she also didn't. You know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah.
kind of like expected that I needed to do good, but like the good level was like very much lower than most people's good level.
Mm-hmm. That must have
so it
been
was still, like-
infuriating for some of your peers.
Kind of. But like I still, it was very weird because like I was still smart. I was just not smart enough to be the smart kids because I didn't get the grades for to be the smart kids, or like
Oh.
I just barely made it in the smart kids because I would always get above a 95 in English. But like English was like a lower tier class to get good grades in. So it was like I barely made the cut, but it was also because of like a B tier class.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like in the B tier of the smart kids. So like I was kind of smart, so the slackers didn't think I was cool enough because I was smart, and then the smart kids didn't think I was cool enough because I wasn't smart enough. So I was just like, well, I'm just gonna
Stuck in the middle with you.
just gonna float around in limbo for a little while.
Yeah. I almost didn't graduate high school.
Wow, that is not something that is normal back at home.
Not graduating?
Yeah,
Oh.
not graduating high school. Like it's either depending on what economical strata you're in, you either don't go through school,
Mm-hmm.
or like it's just hard to hear people just be like, yeah, no, I didn't graduate, like I dropped out or something like that, right? Like it's hard to hear something like that.
Right.
It's not as common because like I was in a private school, a private English school. There was public schools that were in Hindi and like the regional languages, so people could still study, even though it was not in English. They could still like go to high school and finish up until the 10th grade, at the very least, which is like kind of like the cutoff point for a lot of lower income households. It's like if you get like and then you just start trying to get like scholarships into different colleges if you're really good in that school. But like it was very hard to like very few times would you hear someone just be like, yeah, no, I dropped out of high school, and then also see them be successful, basically like enough to be able to live not on scraps, right? Like live like have a decent wage job and live a decent life, basically.
Right. Yeah, I had 2 friends who didn't graduate. One got his GED, I think.
I think
The other one must have got her GED because she went off to go to like some art college.
Okay.
I think you have to have a GED for that.
Right.
I have a story. I have a quick story. So in high school, okay, after I graduated from high school, a friend of mine at the time dragged me back. And so like I said, I barely graduated and I hated high school. It was awful for me. It was hell on earth. But they dragged me back there to be like, let's go say goodbye to the teachers. I'm going to miss them so much. Oh my God. So I go back and we're walking through the halls because like there's still classes going on because they graduate early.
Right.
The seniors graduate early. Everybody else has to keep going for like 2 more weeks.
Right.
But I was walking down the halls and I see an old friend of mine from like way back when, still there, like in high school. So he would be what they call a super senior.
Oh, I see.
Which is that was a thing, a super senior.
Like someone who stayed back.
Yep.
Yeah.
I believe it went up to like super senior.
Back at home, we just called them failures.
I mean, it's a nicer way of saying failure.
Yeah. Oh no, we just he was a failure.
Yeah. Great.
It's like someone who failed the grade and has to redo it. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically.
So you just like hear people like, is he a failure? Is he
oh my God.
Whatever. Like that was some of the whispers that happened when I took a gap year and came back. Because I started like a year behind my regular batch, so all of the kids knew me as a senior student.
Okay.
And so like there was just like, hey, did she fail? What happened? Why is she here? Like behind, and I was just like, you know what? I don't really give a damn.
Yeah. Anyway. What were we talking about?
You almost didn't graduate high school.
Well, yeah, why do we want to talk about that though?
You were talking about super seniors.
Oh, that was the end of my story.
Oh, okay.
It was just really embarrassing for me.
Oh, I see.
We didn't talk or anything. I just saw him and was just like, oh fuck.
Oh, I see.
You know.
So this is like after you graduated?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it was like,
oh yeah, that's kind of awkward.
It was very awkward.
Yeah, that's usually when you see someone, and you're just like, I don't know what to say to you. How's it going?
I didn't
you
even
want
do
some
that.
of my notes? I'll give them to you.
Oh my God. I don't think he would have accepted that.
I mean, yeah, no, like, I mean, naturally, but like, given if I had ever been in a situation like that and I like had some interaction with this person at some point, I would offer it.
Oh my God. Oh my God. All right, enough of that. Enough of reminiscing about that. Where are we?
Well, we kind of finished
Right.
talking about most of the talking points, really.
Yeah, I think I got everything here. Who jobs?
Yeah.
We talked about who jobs, right?
We did. We talked about stereotyping.
Stereotyping.
Those people.
Um,
Sugar mama. Solid.
we could talk about that for a while. There's so many hijab jokes.
There were so many hijab jokes.
Would they have been funny if they had gotten the name right?
No.
Okay.
There's nothing
Yeah, I
like
don't
they
think
weren't
so.
even like clever. They were just
Oh yeah, they were just
stupid, like
puns.
they were just like stupid high school kid jokes. Like they were just like lame jokes. Is what they were.
Very lame
Like
jokes.
maybe 8-year-old me would have laughed at it. Maybe.
Maybe.
And that's saying something because I laugh at everything.
All right. Any other points we want to get to? Do we want to talk about the sexism thing?
I mean, I kind of touched on it already.
Yeah, we
Sort
touched
of.
on it. We didn't really
Yeah.
discuss it though, so I just wanted to know if there was anything.
Well, I mean, I kind of said what I wanted to say. Is there something that you wanted to talk about?
Just how weird it was.
It was kind of weird. It was very like almost sleight of handly, like snuck in there. You know? Like it wasn't
like it's here's why it's weird. It's malicious.
It is.
It's not a celebration of diversity and saying how everybody's the same. Like at the end of the episode, she's saying it's like these people all act like this.
Right.
They and then of course the I guess not the white. I was gonna say the white savior is coming, but they're not white.
Yeah, they're not.
The savior comes in and rescues the Muslim girl from her oppressive patriarchal family.
Yeah. Like, oh god, that part is just really weird because like they like that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that doesn't happen.
Sure.
I'm just saying that it's strange that those are the things that they decided to focus on instead of 10 other things that they could have focused on that would have been more educational for people who are not from that background rather than reinforcing stereotypes that are
It literally
prevalent,
did
you know.
Yeah, it literally did the opposite of what it was trying to do.
Exactly. Like that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of the sexism that they show, yes, it's a little different. It works in a different kind of way, but it's not something that you would not see over here too.
Right.
It's just a different flavor.
Even then, not really. Like
Well,
what
yeah,
they showed in the
that's
show.
Well, no. Like that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
it's not something different. It's not like it's something that's weirdly different that only happens like in these countries. Like sexism happens everywhere. It's a different kind of sexism, sure, but like it's not something new.
No.
It's not what sets these people up, sets us apart from you, but also it's like we're not. Okay, let me rephrase that properly. It's not educating people about what sets us apart and how it's not something to be afraid of, right? Like instead of doing that, they just kind of like reinforce these bizarre stereotypes that still exist in the Western world. Like it's not something that is specifically, you know, a Pakistani thing or something, right? Like
Patriarchy
women-
be everywhere, yo.
yeah, patriarchy is everywhere. It's not like a thing that's only here or there or like, you know, yeah, it's just around everywhere. So that's what I'm saying. Like of all the things that they could have focused on, that's what they decided to focus on.
Yep.
And I'm assuming that this family has been in the States for a little while. not anyone just ups and leaves their home and then comes to America only to maintain old traditions,
Right.
like toxic traditions.
Right. I mean, they speak English well enough.
Yeah, I'm glad that they didn't exaggerate that.
Yeah. Do you want a little background on this, or are we good?
I mean, I don't mind. Background on what exactly?
On the show,
Oh yeah,
specifically.
yeah.
So really quick, the Proud Family was created by Bruce W. Smith. He's been working at Disney Animation since around 1988.
Wow.
Yeah, he's still working with them. He worked on Tarzan, Emperor's New Groove, and most recently The Princess and the Frog. So he's been with them for a long while.
Okay.
This show was produced by his own production company, Jambalaya Studios,
Okay.
which still exists. It was originally produced, the pilot for The Proud Family was originally produced by Nickelodeon.
Okay.
But unfortunately they passed on it, and Disney picked it up.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And and then went from there, lasted 2 seasons, 52 episodes, and then was canceled because it got syndicated.
What does that mean?
Oh, okay. So there's a this was more of a 90s, early 2000s thing, but there was a thing called the 52 episode rule, where you produce 52 episodes of a show, and then if it's not like a huge hit success, the studio will cancel it because they have 52 episodes, so they can run one episode every week for a year. And so they've basically gotten their money's worth on it. So yeah, the Proud Family was ended because they made 52 episodes, and that was about all they needed.
Oh, okay.
So
That's dumb.
That's business. You know, lots of shows have gone through that same problem. But luckily it's not as big of an issue now, especially as streaming has become such a huge thing that the old cable business model is just, completely obsolete in terms of that.
Yeah.
The only other real trivia I could find about this was that Destiny's Child did the theme song.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's a neat theme song.
Yeah.
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 It's just a weird episode. It's just they just didn't do what they were trying to do.
Nope.
Well, they just kind of reinforced some stereotypes.
They did the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job.
No.
Good job. And yeah. What do you rate it, Mariya?
Maybe half.
Half a finger.
Because they were trying to do something. They failed them miserably, but
yes.
I'll give them half a finger for effort.
Half a finger
or
for
lack
effort.
thereof.
Or lack thereof. Yeah, that's about where I'm at too. They tried.
They tried.
And
give them the "you tried" medal and then kick them off the stage.
Yep. Fuck off. Anyway. News time.
Yep. Today in news.
We've got a few things. Keeping on the racism track. Let's just keep that going. There's a new movie being produced in Spain about Magellan. A new animated movie.
Yes, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah. It's called Elcano and Magellanes. First trip around the world. Anyway, this is a Spanish. This is a film made in Spain. Yeah, Magellan. Okay, so he did go around the world. He was the first person to circumnavigate the globe. He didn't do it on purpose.
On accident.
He did it
'cause
on
he was
accident.
lost 90% of the time.
Yep.
100% of the time.
100%.
He didn't even make it to where he wanted to go. He just got
Nope.
speared.
Yep. And
Probably
he,
deserved it.
Yeah, he ended up in the Philippines where a bunch of people were just like, go away. And he was like, I think this is mine now. And then he got speared by a man named Lapu Lapu. If
Yeah.
I'm mispronouncing that, I'm sorry. Like, genuinely. But that's all.
You know what? If native people that these conquistadors tried to push away were even half as like brutal and ruthless as they were like made out to be in like American not American in like Western European like art, then they wouldn't have taken over so much of the world.
Probably.
Like I wish that we were I wish that well, I mean, I can say we because like I was
You were
colonized too.
colonized.
Yeah, I wish that we were just like as aggressive and as like what is it, unsophisticated and beast-like as
Barbarish.
barbaric as we were made out to be. At least these people would have stayed off our fucking land.
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna touch that with the 10-foot pole. Anyway,
Don't touch it.
so we got this new movie that casts Magellan as the hero, and the is that a freaking gargoyle thing? Can you see that? That like weird gargoyle looking motherfucker?
Yeah, I
Goblin?
can see that.
What the hell? This is a new poster
don't.
that I have not seen.
I do not.
I do. You know what? I can't even. A lot of
Yes, the
Filipino
world
people are pissed.
Is ready for another conquistador or colonialist
narrative.
sympathizing narrative.
Yeah.
Yes, this is what we need right now. I'm
so happy about
heavily sarcastic right now. Just
This
so
is
much
great.
sarcasm in case it wasn't clear and evident enough.
Yep, exactly. Needless to say, a lot of Filipino people are kind of like, the fuck?
Exactly. Make a movie on Lapu Lapu. I would watch that.
Sure, I'd watch that too. He speared Magellan. Good for him.
Yes. I want a story about the guy who speared Magellan.
If I am incorrect on that, I do apologize. I was quickly glancing at Wikipedia. And I think I've
It's
heard
okay.
people saying that he's the one that killed Magellan. Anyway, let's get off of that. We're done with
Yes, what's
racism
the
for
next?
now. Is that okay,
next?
Maria?
No, yeah, that's not. What do you mean? You think I enjoy these conversations?
No. Okay, we have the new animated film Arctic Dogs that premiered in theaters recently. It premiered in over 2,800 theaters, Maria. I don't know if you know, like...
100 theaters?
2,800 theaters, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if you know, like, a lot of movies have different amounts of theaters that they go into.
Okay.
A lot of smaller indie movies, they'll only be shown in a few hundred theaters
Right.
around the United States, whereas
Right.
like a bigger movie will be shown in thousands,
Oh,
like
okay.
Avengers. So a lot of box office numbers are adjusted based on how many theaters are actually showing the movie.
Okay.
But 2,800 is a pretty decent number
Right.
of theaters to be showing this movie, and it is the biggest bomb almost ever for a movie
Why?
of
What
this
happened?
size. Well, first of all, have you ever heard of it, Maria?
No.
Okay.
Did they not have like a promotion team?
I don't think so. there might be another problem with this, in that they hired Jeremy Renner to play the lead,
Okay.
Heidi Klum, James Franco, John Cleese, Angelica Houston, Alec Baldwin.
Okay.
Who else is on here? Jason Delane. Delane. And yeah, a lot of fucking big name actors.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, that's a lot of...
Michael Madsen is in this.
That's a lot of names. And no recognition of that name of that movie.
Yeah.
What is it called again?
Arctic Dogs.
Okay.
It is apparently really bad. The animation, I've seen some of the trailers and all that. The animation is some of the designs are okay. The
Okay.
animation could have been worse. But do you want to know how much it made, Mariya?
How much?
So on its release, as of right now, it has made... Well, hold on. Sorry. It premiered on November 1st.
Mm-hmm.
And it has made $4 million.
What was the budget?
I don't know if we know that. The initial box office was $2.9 million
Okay.
for its opening.
Okay.
The budget is currently unknown at this time, but if you're
Okay.
if you're getting Jeremy Renner and all of those people in,
Yeah.
you're paying.
Did they just spend all of their budget on like big shot actors and then
Yep.
just screw up the entire animation because they didn't have enough budget to complete it?
Yep. Okay, here we are. Wikipedia has provided. It says that the estimated budget is about $5 million. Now, the thing about budgets that you have to keep in mind is that usually if you have like a big movie, you double the budget.
Okay.
Because that accounts for all the marketing that goes in.
Right.
Marketing costs as much as a movie, Mariya.
Good lord.
Isn't that crazy? For this, with no marketing, that I had never heard of this movie until the stories started popping up.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the budget was around $50 million.
Okay.
Most
so it has
of
not
that-
hit that budget. Yeah.
It has not
Wow.
even come close to that.
No. Jeez. All right.
This is a direct-to-video movie
hell?
that somehow got like Heidi Klum in it.
How does you do that? How does one do that?
I honestly have no idea. It's a bizarre mystery, and I don't know if we'll ever know. I hope they got paid well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, Arctic Dogs. I hear it's just really boring and not even bad. Just really
I see.
boring.
Just really
So-
boring.
So it's not even a spectacular failure.
It's not even like a Shrek thing where it's like bad.
Mhm.
It's good because it's bad. It's just like it's just bad.
Exactly.
It's boring bad.
It's boring bad. But to round out the news, something exciting.
Yes.
Netflix animation is just about, I think it has been released. Actually, I'm going to look it up right now really quick. Alright, so coming Friday as of the release of this podcast on Monday, whatever date it is, they're going to be releasing their new movie, Klaus,
Ooh.
which is a retelling of, here, I'll just do the summary. A selfish postman and a reclusive toy maker form an unlikely friendship, delivering joy to a cold, dark town that desperately needs it.
I like that.
Yes, it's a
His-
retelling. What's that?
The design of the Santa Claus is very much like the design
Oh.
of Santa Claus from Rise of the Guardians.
Yeah, I'm
I
pretty sure.
quite like it.
Pretty sure a lot of people have made that comparison. But
I quite like. I mean, I really liked Rise of the Guardians anyway, but that's for a whole different day.
yeah, we'll definitely watch that eventually.
Yeah.
The animation in this movie is gorgeous, jaw-dropping, and I hate it because it looks so good. Like, holy mother of God, you mad people.
As much as Netflix has like broken the way that TV is supposed to work,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm glad that they're putting all of that money to good use.
Yeah, they're dumping their money into stuff like this, which just, oh my God. We're gonna have to watch this. Like,
Yeah, we will.
It looks so good, and I am excited for it. I apparently like the development. It's been kicking around for a number of years, for a while. And it's only now just getting a release.
Yes.
So
It looks very pretty.
it looks gorgeous. So I'm very excited for that. That'll be coming out on Friday of this. What's Friday, Mariya? November. All it's saying is Friday on my thing.
So Friday.
Yeah, but what's the date? Oh my God. November 15th. I looked it up already.
Good job.
November 15th. Klaus. Claus? Is it Claus?
Claus. Is it just? I guess it's you could say Klaus because it's like with a
Klaus?
K instead of a C.
Klaus. Whatever. It's coming out. Go watch it. It's probably going to be really good.
Go watch it. It's probably coming out.
Or you can watch that one movie with Kurt Russell in it.
One movie with Kurt Russell in it.
Well, the Christmas movie. The Santa Claus movie with Kurt Russell in it.
There's well, I guess I don't know if it's Disney, Pixar, or just Pixar. Teased a trailer for a movie called Soul.
I was going to bring that up next time. And the discourse surrounding that. But I guess you've opened the can of worms.
Well, no, we can tease it for next time. It's fine.
All right. We'll talk about the discourse surrounding Soul.
Yeah.
Later. Next episode.
So tune in then for
That.
news today. Today in news.
Yep. And that's the end of the news. Or what did Walter Cronkite say? And that's the news.
Sure.
Whatever. Leave me alone.
I didn't.
Mariya, I'm done. This made me sad.
There, James. It's okay.
But I learned a lot about Islam, so, you know.
That's good. Yeah.
I feel like I bug you a lot about it.
I mean, I don't really care.
Okay, good. I like understanding a different culture.
It's cool. Yeah.
Unlike the people that wrote this episode.
Who did not even give a shit.
No, not really.
Anyway, what are we watching next time, James?
Oh, yeah. In 2 weeks, we are continuing our nostalgia with Totally Spies.
That's going to be an interesting one to revisit.
Yeah. Guess which episode I picked?
Which one?
It's the one about India.
Oh, God. This is going to be fun. It's going to be so fun, you guys. So fun.
Oh, it's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. I can guarantee that. I've seen
Oh
the
my
summary of the
God.
episode.
All right. Well, we'll see how bad it is
Yeah.
next time.
Next time.
If you like this episode and if you would like us to continue making these lovely, lovely podcast episodes, leave us a like and subscribe to us, or leave us a comment. If you're listening to us on YouTube, if you're listening to us on Spotify, keep listening. Tell other people about it. Share it. Love it. Hate it. Whatever. Rant about us on Twitter or something. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. And you can follow us on our social medias: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We post stuff sometimes every now and again. At Chaotic
Yeah.
Silly, no space. That's
No
our
space.
handle.
Yep.
And if you would like to support us some more, you could give us $1 on our Patreon at patreon.com/chaoticsilly. And for $1, you get our exclusive Patreon podcast where James and I talk about animated movies instead of TV shows. And we would love it if you would do that.
Yeah. What's the movie we're watching this month, Mariya?
I have no idea.
Oh my god. We're watching Chicken Little.
Oh, yeah! I totally forgot. Yeah, so we're watching Chicken Little, which is like the epitome of the 2000s, apparently.
Have you seen it?
Yes, several times on a bootleg DVD.
We'll talk about that. But can you tell me it's not the epitome of the 2000s?
I can neither confirm nor deny that it is not the epitome of the 2000s.
Exactly.
Because I was a child that time, and I don't quite remember much
Right.
of the
You'll
2000s.
see. We'll see. It's going to be bad. Holy fuck. All right, we're done.
Okay, bye.
Bye.